Hi everybody, this is Mike for Terrible Infant, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. So, on this channel, you know that me and Will, we love films, we love talking about films, especially when it comes to 80s cinema and Hong Kong cinema and different things like that. We just love it, we love talking about it. We've done a bunch of rankings, we've done lists, we've done different things like that. Um, but those are just like kind of like the consensus favorite movies that we have and things like that. And so what I wanted to do is get on here on Tier Maker, and I just searched for some 80s list, 80s films list, so I could so everyone has kind of an idea of the kind of films that I personally like. So you have a better idea of where I'm coming from when we're talking about our films on our channel, or we're doing rankings or reviews, or we're highlighting something, and you're like, why don't they ever talk about this movie? This is a good chance for me to kind of arrange things in tiers so that you have an idea of the kind of stuff that I personally like. And then, you can either disagree or agree or whatever. That's the beauty of these lists. And I figured it'd be fun and quickly to go through this. So this is an 80s films, best of 80s films list that on Tier Maker I found. It's by 1980, whatever that stuff is, movies tier list. I haven't really arranged it. I haven't looked at it. All I did was load it up, put everything in OBS, and change these titles. So I have a couple tiers. I have my favorites, all that's good in the world. So those are the best of the films that I like. Not necessarily the best made films or the best films on this list, but these are just my favorites. Then I have Damn Naughty, So Good It Hurts. You know what I'm talking about. Average, Like a Burger with No Bacon. It's good, but it's missing that something something. Meh, better than a kick to the nuts. Trash, worse than a kick to the nuts, and there'll be some of that. And then obviously, I've seen a lot of films, but I haven't seen everything, so I don't want to trash a movie because I haven't seen it. So that seems kind of wrong. So if I haven't seen it, I'm just going to put it in the haven't seen too much, not really spend a lot of time talking about it, and go from there. So I'm going to be pretty quick because there's a ton of movies, and I don't want to ramble on for half an hour. It's hot. It's the middle of the day. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on this. I just want to give you an idea of the kind of stuff I like. So I've already rambled too long. So let's just get into it. Boom. What do we have here? Lethal Weapon. Yes, Daddy, please. That's one of the best action films in the 80s, no doubt. Don't even have to mention anything else. Blues Brothers. Fun movie. Not something I'd watch a bunch of times. I think I've seen twice, but a long time ago. It's good, but again, it's just not what I'm super into. Stand By Me, another one I'll put right there, average, like a burger, no bacon. Really good film, well acted, well scripted, cool story. No desire to watch it again, no real reason to watch it again. But I appreciate the quality of it, how well it's made, and everything like that. But again, that's where it is on my list. First Blood, yeah. Not only did this start the whole Rambo series, but it's a really good film on its own. It's very different than the rest of the Rambos that came after that, because it's more of a drama about a Vietnam vet who comes back and he runs into trouble with a local sheriff. So it's not quite as action-packed as some of his later films where he's just taking on whole countries and destroying whole armies. It's more soulful, it's more dramatic, it's deeper, it's darker, but it's a great film. Pumpkinhead. So I'll put it right there. Damn Naughty, So Good It Hurts. The first Pumpkinhead's really, really cool. It's like an old gothic horror film almost in a sense. The creature effects are awesome. Stan Winston did a great job directing it. It's just fun. It's fun and creepy. And again, like most horror series, the films that came after just don't compare. Footloose. Yeah, I put it there. Not my flavor at all. Don't like those kind of movies too much. I like Kevin Bacon. I like the people in it. I'm sure some of you will hate me on it for putting it right there. But again, it's just not the kind of film I watch. Back to the Future. Ugh, really good film. But I'm going to put it right there. And you'll be able to tell by this list as I go on the kind of genres and films I like. So this is no indication of the film. That's probably one of the best made films so far that I've ranked. But I've seen it a few times and I've always enjoyed it, but it's not, if you sat me down like, what film do you want to watch on here? It's not going to be my first option. Rocky 4. I mean, I struggle to put it between one of these two tiers because I enjoy it, and I like, I was born in St. Petersburg in Russia, so, Ivan Drago is fun, even though Dolph Lundgren's not even remotely Russian at all. But I'm going to put it right there just because it's not as good as the first Rocky. It's not as good as the second Rocky. Um, and outside of, it's a good spot for it. It's a good movie, but again, not one of the best Rocky movies. Risky Business. Put it right down there. Not my style again. Not something I usually watch. Not the kind of stuff I usually watch. Good film, fun film, but see, same thing with Top Gun. Like, I know people are gonna hate on me for it, but again, it's just not the kind of stuff that I normally watch. So I can't really. I know it's completely. It's not trash. I know it's a good movie, but this isn't a list of like what are some good movies. This is a list of the movies that I like personally, and so that's why I put it there. Big. I'm gonna put that at average. That's a fun little. It's surprising because I like really dark, violent action films and horror films and thrillers and stuff. But then I also like kind of wholesome like comedies like this. So I'm gonna put that there. Dead Zone. I have seen that. I'm gonna put it here. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I think that's a good place for it. It's not my favorite Stephen King adaptation, but it is very solid, and Christopher Walken's just really good in it. He's really creepy, and it has that, poses that question. It's like, if you know someone's going to do something really bad, do you take them out before they've even done it? So, Sea of Love. Never seen it. I've never even freaking heard of it. Caddyshack. Good film. I'm going to put it right there. Really fun comedy. Love the people in it. Kind of the same thing with Back to the Future, where I'll watch it if it's on. I'll watch it with friends. But if you just sat me down and it's like, pick a film to watch right now, it just wouldn't be on my top list. Escape from New York. Yes, sir. I'm a huge fan of John Carpenter, so this is no surprise. I'm also a big fan of Kurt Russell, so this is no surprise. Also, the film is fun. It's weird. It's creepy. It's atmospheric. It's awesome. Shining. I really like The Shining. I don't know about the whole controversy. I haven't read the book, so I know they're different. But the film to me was fun. It was creepy. It was fun in the sense that it was creepy. It was entertaining. It was, I thought well acted by Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. It was a really good film. It was very creepy, and I kind of like the horror films that aren't just like random monsters just popping up and killing everybody, but more psychological. And this story of him kind of losing his mind is more like that. So definitely A+ in my book. La Bamba. Have not seen that. Sorry. Tron. Surprisingly, I have not seen Tron. Bye-bye. War Games. I feel like I've seen it, but I don't remember it at all, so I'm just going to put it down there and skip it. Christmas Story. I'm going to put it here. I have the nostalgia of it because I saw it when I was a kid and I saw it a bunch of times. And it's a really good film. But again, look at my tier so far. You kind of see action, kind of action thriller, horror. You kind of see where I usually lean to. So that's a good spot for it. Karate Kid. One of these two. It's kind of right in there. I'm going to put it right up there. It's a fun coming of age story. Well acted, the music's good, the performances are good. Just a like when you think of like 80s coming of age stories, that's kind of one of the first ones you think of. That one and maybe Stand By Me. So that's a good spot for. Back to the Future 2. I will put it here. I'll be honest, all the Back to the Futures kind of start bleeding together to me because I haven't seen them in so long. I know I like the series, but it's just definitely not something that I watch a lot. So that's a good. All these films, like, average doesn't mean it's a bad film. It's a really good film. It's just not something that's personally on my list. So, Terminator, yes, please. Terminator 1 and 2 are two of my favorite movies of all time. They're completely awesome. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love Terminator. I love everything about it. If you've seen our channel at all, me and Will both love Terminator a lot. I don't know what else I can say about it. Commando, come on, that's one of my favorite films of all time. It's one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger films of all time. Probably 2 or 3 behind Terminator 2 and either Terminator or Predator, or maybe even Commando. They're all up there. He's so good, especially in the 80s. He's so good. E.T. Very, very good film. Very family friendly, but I do like that kind of film sometimes. I mean, Coming of Age Story. Here's another one that's a classic '80s example of it. Um, Good spot for it. Man, look at how much more we have to do. I better hurry up. The Fly. Really, really good sci-fi film. Really creepy, really well acted. Very, very scary because it's like what can happen to you. And yeah, The Goonies. See, I have a lot of nostalgia with The Goonies, so I have to put it right up here. This is probably one of my favorite sort of action adventure type films from the '80s. I saw it when I was a young kid, and I've seen it a bunch of times, and it still holds up really well. It's still fun, and it's like you look for films kind of like that now, and there just aren't. Those like you have a sense of adventure and just a sense of fun, and there's just not a lot of that kind of stuff anymore. Color Purple. I've seen it so long ago that I don't really remember it. So honestly, I'm going to put it down here. I can't remember it at all. So I don't want to say too much about it and look like an idiot. Star Trek. Have not seen it. I am not a fan of Star Trek, so I'm sure if I saw it, I wouldn't like it, but I have not seen it. The Burbs. Can't remember it. Can't remember it at all. I'm going to put it down here. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Would y'all hate me if I put it down here? No. Raiders of the Lost Ark is really fun. I personally like the Indiana Jones movies way more than Star Wars movies. Because I'm surprised not a huge fan of Star Wars, but don't crucify me. But yeah, that goes there. Uncle Buck. I love me some Uncle Buck. I'm a big John Candy fan, especially in the '80s, especially in his John Hughes stuff. He's so good and he's so endearing, and there's like so many fun, relatable scenes in this, and it's just so good. Monster Squad. Man, it's been so long since I've seen it. Average. That seems about right. Man, there's so many movies here, and I can't just look at this list. I can't just put everything up at the very top. I mean, I love the '80s, so but yeah, Monster Squad's good there. Evil Dead 2, really good. I'm not gonna put it at my favorites because while I love the film, I'm not a huge fan of, and I'm actually gonna put the Evil Dead right in there as well. I'm actually not the biggest fan of like a lot of humor in my horror films, so that's why I can't elevate it to the upper tier. Night of the Demons, I've only seen once loosely. By that I mean I kind of skimmed around it. From what I saw, I liked it, but it wasn't great. It was just a horror gore kind of film, and I'm not the biggest fan of those. Child's Play. Average. The first one was actually kind of creepy and scary, and then they just went complete goofballs. Don't like that. I wish they could have. Like, it's silly in its premise, right? It's a doll coming to kill you, and they're like fighting, and it's like beating them up. I'm like, just take it, throw it in the fire, or just like lock it in a box or something. Ghostbusters. Man, that's a good movie. I gotta put it up here. It's too good. It's too good not to put it up there, even though. I say comedies. I like comedies, but they're not my first go-to thing. But I do have some comedies up here. That's definitely one of the best comedy type films of the '80s, no doubt. Weird Science. While I think Killer Brock is hot, I don't think this is actually a very good movie. So I'm gonna put it right there. It's kind of silly. It's like taking a very creepy. Sexual thing, like they create this perfect woman, but then kind of making it wholesome because they don't really do a whole lot of there's all these pervs who would if they could create a perfect woman like that, like you wouldn't even be able to talk about what they do. It'd be just disgusting. Watch this. You guys ready for some hate? No, that's just mean. Look, I'm going to put it here, and the reason I'm going to put it here is because I know it's a good movie. I know it's well made. I know it's well acted. I know it has a whole franchise. I know people around the world love it. I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars, but I'm not going to trash it because of that. So that's a good spot for it. For me, I've seen it. If someone's watching it, I don't mind watching it, but I'm never going to seek it out. Sorry. Videodrome. I've seen this so long ago, and I've been trying to convince Will to watch it, and we just haven't had a chance to it. I'm just going based on memory, and that it's a very weird, very good, very sort of creepy movie. But it's not quite one of my faves. Night of the Creeps. I vaguely remember that. I vaguely remember that, but I can't say much about it. I know I've seen it, and I know I liked it, but I can't remember too much else about it. Right there is a good spot. Fright Night. I saw the remake, but I haven't seen the original one. Boom. I do love that poster, though. The poster's very creepy. Full Metal Jacket, I'm a big fan of the first half of it, when they're going through basic training and all that. Not as much of a fan of the second half of it, so that's why I put it right down there. Reanimator, yes. I mean, that's not my favorite poster of Reanimator. The one I have on my wall that you can't see, but it's right there, is the one where he's on the table with the head. But man, Reanimator is, and I know I kind of contradict myself because I don't like a lot of comedy in my horror films, but that one's just too good. It's just too good. It's just too fun. RoboCop, come on. I mean, come on. RoboCop's got to go there. It's so good. It's one of the best action films of the 80s, bar none. Teen Witch, never seen it. The Hitcher. You want a creepy serial killer movie? Watch The Hitcher. Rutger Hauer is amazing in it. He's so creepy. Like he doesn't come across as like typical villain where he just like gung ho and coming at you and he's gonna kill you and all this stuff. He's more kind of like he's just like sitting there and like telling you what he's gonna do, and there's like nothing in his face. And it's, if you've seen some of the serial killer confessions, it was like that. It's so good. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Have not seen it. Amadeus. It's a great film, but it's not in my favorite genres, and I'm never going to seek it out again, so that's a good spot for it. This is Spinal Tap. You know what? I've never seen it. I know. Stripes. I've seen it. Yeah. It's not complete trash, but meh. Aliens. Oh, come on, Daddy. Let's get you right up there. Right up there. Yeah, Aliens is amazing, and I just realized now that it's all going to be cut off because of my list is getting too long. So sorry about that, but you don't even really need to see the films that I haven't seen, you know. So Aliens, come on. I think Aliens is my favorite Alien series. It's more action packed, but it's still got this dark, creepy vibe to it. So boom. Running Man. I know it's kind of a cheesy, silly movie, but it's so fun and ridiculous and over the top, and that's actually where they got the idea for American Gladiators. Because what greater idea is it than watching a bunch of people being murdered? Blue Velvet, yes. You like seeing what happens in the creepy, in like what seem like normal towns and the creepy shit that people are up to and all that's underneath? Right there, Blue Valentine. And Dennis Hopper's so freaking insane in it. It's so good. Die Hard, come on. Any Doubt? No, come on. Michael Jackson, Moonwalker, never seen it, sorry. The Outsiders. I don't think I've ever seen it. I know. You can't see everything. Little Mermaid. Sorry, I'm not a huge fan of kids' movies. Out of Africa. God, I don't think I've seen it. Man, I'm just looking at this list, and there's all this stuff that I haven't seen. It's crazy. Let me do a little magic. We're back. Sorry, I had to resize my screen a lot because there's just a ton of films on here, and it's like taking up too much space. So, where are we at? Three Amigos, haven't seen it. Night of the Critters, it's Night of the Critters, just Critters. I've seen it, silly, goofy, but what is this? I can't even see what that is. Chariots of Fire. Okay. Very good movie, but I like the score of it better than the movie itself, so I'm going to put it right there. Coming to America. Classic Eddie Murphy comedy. But again, not quite what I normally go for. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is amazing. And look at that. See, so I do have some variety. Beetlejuice is just amazing. It's a great film. I got to put it up there. An American Werewolf in London. Fun. Boom, right there. Oh, look at this. My list is getting long. Man, I don't have any trash movies. Do the Right Thing. Come on. Right up there. Once Upon a Time in America. Come on. You all know I love Sergio Leone, so I got to put it right up there. This list is crazy. Everything I like, and there's almost nothing that I don't like. Sleepaway Camp. I've seen it. It's a really crappy slasher film. I know it has a good reputation, but it's just a cheesy little slasher film. The ending shot's super creepy, and that's why I'm not going to put it in trash, but it's not much better than that. Rain Man. Just an average film. I know it's well made. I know it's well regarded, but it's not my type of thing. Breakfast Club. I love me some Breakfast Club, so I'm gonna put it right up there. One of my favorite John Hughes movies. I like all of the cast. It's just fun. Dune. I have not seen Dune. I know. I mean, Scarface. Like, I would get just destroyed if I put it anywhere below that. But thankfully, I like it just as much as everyone else does. Haven't seen Purple Rain. I know I'm not the biggest music guy. I'm sorry. Haven't seen A Fish Called Wanda. I know. The Fog. Very creepy movie, but it's not one of my favorite John Carpenter films, so I'm going to put it right down there. I do like the music and I do like the idea behind it, but it's just an average John Carpenter movie for me. The Howling, kind of the same sort of thing. Good, fun movie, average. If it's on, I'll watch it again. I'm not going to seek it out. Flight of the Navigator, haven't seen it. Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is really good. I'm going to put it right up there. It's so bleak and it's so dark. Sprinkled with just the right amount of humor with Bub the zombie. But the story is so bleak and dark. But that's good. That's kind of what I want in a zombie film. Like, zombies aren't supposed to be happy, funny. Like, that's the end of the world, man. Return of the Living Dead. That is a funny little film. It's very creepy. I love the punk girl who takes her top off in the cemetery because I love that look, the punk look to it. Yeah, that's a great film. It's a way more comedic than what I usually like in my horror zombie films, but it just pulls it off and it just works on that one. Next, The Stepfather. Yeah, Terry O'Quinn is super creepy. Basically, he just like marries into a family, murders them, and moves on to the next one. The second one's not nearly as good, but the first one's very creepy. The opening of it, and I don't want to. Well, I guess let's spoil it. Screw it. You see him kind of getting ready for work in the bathroom. He's the picture of a normal, boring businessman. He gets ready for work, grabs a suitcase, does that, and then he walks downstairs. And he's walking downstairs, you see all this blood and you see these bodies, and he's just finished like murdering this family. He goes outside like nothing ever happened and goes about his day. Awesome. Spaceballs. Fun. Again, not something I normally watch. National Lampoon's Vacation. I've only seen it once. Will loves this film, but again, it's just not something that I've seen a lot, so I can't really rate it any higher. Elephant Man, I'm going to put it right up there because it's a super well made film, super well acted, tells a great story. Very sad, but what is this? The Blob. Blob is a very gory horror film from the 80s. It's so silly. Like, just a blob, gelatinous blob, just starts eating and destroying towns and stuff. But fun. Again, I can't put it up there. I can't justify that, so I'm going to put it right there. Ghostbusters 2. It's got to be up there. These first two films are so good. Ghostbusters 3 is another story, but these two, they definitely belong up there. Heathers, I've seen it once, but I can't remember it at all, so I don't want to say something about it that it's wrong. Airplane, I'm going to put it right there. It's a little too silly for me. I'm just going to say it like that. The Dark Crystal, right there as well. Not my cup of tea, but well made. Nostalgia plays a big factor with that one as well. Star Trek, haven't seen. Batman, super good. Awesome. I'm blanking on his name. The Tim Burton Batmans are super good, and this version of Joker is actually really good. Everyone who plays Joker does a really good job because it's such a fun role. And I always say the reason I like Batman as a character so much is not so much because of Batman, but because of all the villains he has. He has some of the best villains in the comic books. Because they have good backstories, they get screen time, they get paid attention to, so they're actual characters. Unlike, someone from Marvel, like who comes to destroy a planet. And it's like, all right, we don't really. It's just an entity. It's just a force of nature. It's not someone we can relate to. It's not someone we care about. Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. Honestly, I can't even remember this film. I know I like it, but it's not as good as Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm gonna put it as an average film. I know. I'm sorry. Creepshow. Man, can't remember it at all, honestly. Which one is this? Hellraiser? What? Man, I can't even tell. I think that's the first Hellraiser. The first Hellraiser I'm going to put right there. It's really good, but it's very disgusting. and the acting could be better, but it's fun, it's creepy, the music's good. There's a good spot. 2010. I don't think I've seen it. What do we have here? Rambo: First Blood Part 2. Like I said, the Rambo films get way more action heavy, and not as good as the first Rambo. So in terms of action films, it's just kind of an average action film in the 80s for me. So right there. Big Trouble in Little China. A lot of people love Big Trouble in Little China, but I found it just a little too silly for me. But it's still a good film, but it's not something I would seek out. It's not one of my top 3 or 4 John Carpenter films either. Gremlins. Me and Will watched this not too long ago. It was fun, but I don't really know what the audience is. It's like a family film, but there's like a bunch of murder and stuff. Flash Gordon, surprisingly, I have not seen. Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I have not seen. Lost Boys, yeah. Vampires Going to Town. Kiefer Sutherland, I believe Bill Paxton, and some others. See, I like when vampires are dark and scary, not like, ooh, he's so handsome, let's get with him. Nah, man. Mad Max 2, come on, dude. This is probably my second favorite Mad Max movie after Mad Max Fury Road. And they're kind of similar films involving big chases. This is so, so good. If you haven't seen this, this is from 1981. And this is probably my favorite film from that year. It's just so good. The Thing is probably one of my top 5 favorite films of all time. You've seen our channel. You've seen me talk about this in excess. So definitely check this out if you can. The Abyss. You know what? I haven't seen it. It's on my to watch list for the last year, and I haven't seen it. Adventures in Babysitting. I haven't seen it. Oh man, I'm gonna have to make this even smaller. I hope you guys can still see that. This list is way longer than I thought. This is crazy. I gotta hurry up because this is taking way too long. They Live. This is probably my second favorite John Carpenter film. Too good. Too good. What is this now? I can't even see what these are now. The Vanishing. Oh man, if this is The Vanishing, I gotta put it here. This is, I believe, a Swedish, Norwegian, Finnish. Can't remember. From that part of the world, and it's so dark. It's basically this guy's girlfriend is kidnapped, and he goes for years trying to figure out what happened, and he finally gets a hold of the killer, and the killer's like, basically, drug yourself and you'll know what happens to her because it'll happen to you, and he does. And I don't want to spoil, but it's just such a creepy ending. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I'm mainly putting it there for the scene that you know. Beverly Hills Cop. This would be higher if I was more into action comedies, which I'm clearly not. This is one of the best of those, but yeah. Working Girl. Can't remember that at all. Rocky 3. This is probably, of the first 5 anyway, this is probably my second least favorite Rocky. Behind 5, obviously. So I'm going to put it right there. What is that? I don't know. Some crap. I can't even read it anymore. Raging Bull. No Doubter. Christine. Funny, but not my favorite John Carpenter film of all time at all. Platoon. Come on. Platoon is amazing. Come on, Predator. Come on. These films aren't made anymore. This is why the 80s was the best decade for films. Poltergeist. Not really big into ghost stories like that, so I'm going to put it right there. And look at that. My list is so... Man, this is crazy. This is too long. Nightmare on Elm Street. First one's really dark and violent and gory. The rest got way too silly for me, but yeah. Flashdance. Meh. Star Wars. Again, same thing as always. Glory, right there. Great film. Seen it a few times. You can see why it's not up there, like, right? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Fun film, but not for me. Porky's. Again, I like it, and I like the silliness of it and all the frat stuff. But again, this is all preferences now. Labyrinth, have not seen. Bill and Ted's excellent. Again, same thing as a lot of these films. They're good films, and I like them, but Kiss of the Spider Woman, that's not what I thought it was. Why did I say Bill and Ted? I've never seen this one. Dirty Dancing. Meh. I'm not a fan of that. This is, again, like, this is a debate between here and here for me. I'm going to put it here because this is just a really good movie. Christmas Vacation, I don't think I've actually seen. What is that? 16 Candles. Really good film. I'm a big fan of John Hughes, if you haven't noticed. The Untouchables, really good film. And this is crazy. Look, I have to make my list smaller again. This is just too insane. All right, what else we got? Friday the 13th. I respect what it started, but the first Friday the 13th is pretty much trash. It's not a good film. The second, the fourth, couple others are really good film. And we did a whole Friday the 13th ranking, so I'm not going to go into detail. But the first one's not very good. Indiana Jones and the something. I can't even read that. Last Crusade? Can't remember it. But I know it's good. I know I watched all the Indiana Jones. I know I liked them, and I'm pretty sure this is my ranking for them. Blade Runner, one of the best worlds created in a film ever, and one of the best film scores ever. Come at me if you disagree. I can't read what that says. I'm going to put it down there. The Engagement, I believe. I don't think I've seen. Man, I cannot see what the Annie I haven't seen. I don't know what that is. Look at this. This is just the Neverending Story I haven't seen. Fox and the Hound, haven't seen. Great Movie Detective, haven't seen. There you go, Bill and Ted's. Really fits into a lot of these other films. Good comedies, but not for me. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, kind of a trash film. I'm sorry. The Land Before Time. I've seen it actually when I was in middle school or elementary school, but not very good. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Not seen that. An American Tail. I have seen that. It's okay. Black Cauldron. Haven't seen. At first I thought it said Bitch Cauldron. Wizard. Haven't seen. Quest for Fire. Haven't seen. Superman. I'm not a big fan of Superman. Superman's way too overpowered for me. So I don't like it because like there's only one thing that stops him. So I don't like it. So there's my list. That was crazy. That was way too long. So I'm going to do a bunch more of these, but I'm going to try and find ones that are a bit shorter because that look how long this list is. You probably can't even tell what half of these films are. And these are not ranked in any order in their tiers. That would take another half hour, and I just don't have that kind of time. Nor do I think you want to see me rambling for another half hour. So there you go. There you go. Those are my tiers for my personal favorite films. Not best films, not what I think are the greatest films on here or the best made films on here. You see, I haven't seen a fair number of these anyway. And look, I only have 4 trash films, and some of you may be looking at this list and you're like, these are complete trash films. They belong down there, and vice versa. So these are just my personal rankings, my personal thoughts on these films. It's to give you a better idea of where we're coming from and the kind of stuff we like to watch, and if you agree or don't agree, let me know in the comments. What do you think? What are the biggest grievances you have? What are the biggest missteps? What would you rank high and what would you rank low that I don't have? So I'm actually curious to see what kind of stuff our fans are watching, the kind of stuff our fans like, and if our interests align with each other. So I'm really curious to see that. I hope you had a good time. I'll be doing more of these lists. If there's a specific list you want me to do, let me know in the comments below. Hit us up, and I'll be sure and try and do those. I actually enjoyed making lists and doing lists, and this was really fun. It's just I didn't realize there's this many films. So until next time, this has been Mike for Terrible Infant, and adios.